You.
Hi, Sarah. I'm good. How are you?
It's nice to meet you. So I see we're going to be doing some pre-planning funeral arrangements today.
Yes, please.
How how have you thought about what you want to do regarding funeral service?
I think right now I just want to take care of the basics for embalming and burial and some service arrangements just to take the burden off of my kids and husband if the need should arise.
Awesome. Great. I like to hear that. It's always easier to have the financial burden removed off the table for your family. It's just one less thing for them to have to worry about. And I do commend you for being very proactive right now.
Thank you.
So before we get started, I do want to make sure that you have the copy of the general price list and the casket price list.
Yes, I do.
Legally, I am required to make sure that you have that. And I do want to take time to mention that our general price list is what falls under itemized pricing, which means you don't have to pay for services that you don't want, with the exceptions of a few things that are out of our control. So before we get started, I kind of like to take pride in the fact that I have an opportunity to meet clients before they are entered into my care. So if you would just tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm 41 years old. I've been married for almost 20 years. I have two young girls, and they're the reason why I'm thinking about doing this. They're right now 16 and almost 12, so just trying to get things started for them. But I work at the VA hospital, and my husband is in construction, and
Okay.
that's about it.
Awesome. How long have you worked at the VA?
For about 10 years. It'll be 10 years this spring.
10 years. Wow. That's amazing.
Thank you. I really enjoy it.
So, in regards to your pre-arrangements, do you have a church in mind for where you want to have services?
We've just recently started attending other churches, kind of visiting. So I think that right now I would probably have to say we would want to use the chapel at the facility.
Okay, perfect. All right. And is there somebody in particular that you would like to have officiate your services?
No, I don't have a family pastor at the moment, but if there's somebody available, I'm not sure how that typically works. Does somebody at the facility kind of step up to do that, or how would
we do provide that for you? If that is, say you pass away tomorrow and your family is like, we really don't know anybody that we would like to have officiate her services, we would be glad to do that for you.
Okay, but that's probably the direction we would go. I mean, could I change that later on if we did end up?
You absolutely can make any changes later if you need to, or your family can. When your time comes, they can make those changes too.
Okay, good deal.
So let me just write that down, that you wish to have chapel services at the funeral home. Okay. Do you have any prior affiliation with military for the United States?
No.
Okay. All right. So we wouldn't need to have that. Do you have in mind any scriptures or poems, anything like that you would like to have read at your service?
I actually do. I kind of want my services to be more of an altar call for people who may not be saved. So I think just some basic scripture, maybe John 3:16 is a good one. And also Matthew 11:28 through 30. And I had one more there. And Ecclesiastes 3:1 through 4.
Right. All right. Any designated people to have read those at your services or anything like that?
Well, if my husband's able to get through it, or at the times my daughters are older and able to do it. If not, just the officiating person could do it.
Okay. Do you have any regards, if you want to have any music played? We offer a plethora of suggestions. You can have music as your family enters, music while the congregation waits for your family, and of course during your service if that's desired.
I think just some old hymns, just basically the music versions of old Southern Baptist hymns. Old Rugged Cross is always a good one. Victory in Jesus. I would like to kind of mix some of the contemporary Christian songs. I'm not really particular about which ones, but I do like Mercy Me quite a bit. So the song Even If is a good one for me.
Oh, that,
Yeah, that's one of my
love
favorites.
that song. I love that song. It's beautiful. Okay. What about you still feel the same way, like as far as the recessional when family is leaving and folks are headed towards cemetery for graveside services, any music played or just something that falls along that category?
Just that category, yeah. I think having
Okay.
and I would like to keep the songs kind of more on an upbeat,
Sure.
positive Christian message instead
Sure.
of more dreary, sad ones.
Okay. We are more than willing to do that for you, Jennifer. Have you thought heavily towards if you want to have open casket, closed casket, viewing?
I think I would like to let my husband decide, depending on how
Sure.
I feel, to see if it's something he would know best whether I would want people to see me that way or not. But if I'm presented
Sure.
family
Sure.
check and say yes, then yes, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, perfect. And do you wish to have any flowers present during your viewing and services? Which, of course, most people send flowers. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to purchase additional flowers, we could set that up for you now. Or if it's something you want to wait.
I think whatever flowers are sent, I would be really happy with that. But I'm not a huge flower or material person, so if there were a little bit, then I'd be good with whatever.
Okay. And so, do you have any prior arrangements made with cemeteries as far as nothing like that?
No.
Okay. Do you have any particular cemetery in mind that you would wish to be buried at and have final disposition at?
No, we don't really have any connections with anyone, like a family plot or anything like that. No.
Okay. All right. So we'll leave that to be determined based on when you pass. We're more than willing to set that up for you as well. Okay. I will go ahead and tell you, I told you about the itemized charges on the general price list. Unfortunately, one of the things that funeral homes can't control is the purchase of an outer burial container. In every cemetery in this area, Llano Memorial Park, Memory Gardens, they do all require the purchase of an outer burial container before your final disposition occurs in the earth. And that's just to protect the casket and the remains from the weight of the earth and just protect it. So you don't have to purchase anything extravagant. It could just be something as simple as a grave liner, anything like that. So have you thought much towards that?
I was looking at the attachment that you sent, and there are some cheaper versions of that. And I think that I would like to go with the most economical one. It looks like the concrete liner for $850 is what it goes for. I'm okay with something.
Okay. Absolutely. That is a popular choice. That's what most people tend to go for. So I will write that down that you are interested in the concrete outer burial container. All right. And do you have any thoughts, concerns about being embalmed?
No, I know that some people prefer that, and kind of depending on circumstances, if it happened 10 years from now, my kids may be out of town or something like that, I know that can help us give some time. So I'm not opposed to that.
Okay. All right. And let's see here, for just embalming, I do believe we do charge $675 as a flat rate for embalming, unless you, for somewhat reason, had to have an autopsy. We would charge $825, but it is not required unless, like I said, we do require it if you want to have public viewing of the remains. So I will put you down that you're okay with embalming, and if things change in the future, we can always go back and change that, or your family can change that. So it's no problem.
Okay.
And do you have preference of casket that you would like, whether wood versus metal?
I think I would prefer the metal, and again, not super picky about the design or anything like that. I think that the lower end, I think it's the Belvedere, the very low end one. I think that one would meet my needs.
Okay, that is very nice. It is a 20 gauge non-gasketed. I will go ahead and tell you it about the non-gasketed. If it matters to you, you know, a lot of people do purchase gasketed caskets just because it does help prevent any fluids, anything like that from entering into the casket. So if that is any matter to you, we can change that. But if you're happy with the Belvedere, we can keep you at the Belvedere.
Okay, yeah, I'm not super concerned about that.
I'll write that down for you. All right. And so we do have additional charges for dressing, casketing, cosmetizing. If you had preference over somebody to do your hair personally versus funeral home staff doing your hair, we're more than willing to set that up for you. It's up to you which one you would like to have.
I think I would be comfortable with the facility just taking care of it and just making me look as natural as possible.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. And are you interested in having a viewing?
I think so. I'm not opposed to it, but again, whoever is surviving I would let them make that choice.
And would you want to have that? Does it matter what time you have that? Afternoon, evening?
No.
Okay. And are you interested in having any food or beverages at your viewing?
No.
Okay. And we do, if you had a particular photo that you would like for your memorial folder or put out at your service and viewing, we would of course take that. We do offer the video slideshows played at your funeral. It's $200 if you want to purchase that video slideshow. Holds up to 200 photos. We can also throw in videos if that's something that your family was interested in. How do you feel about that?
Is that $200 for them to have a copy of it or to have it played at the funeral?
For them to have a copy of it.
Okay. I think I want to go ahead and put it on my pre-need so I can take care of that. And if they want to have a copy of it, it'll be paid for.
Okay, perfect. All right. And I'm just going to go over some simple obituary information so that we can have that on file. So you are married. What is your husband's name?
Darren, Darren.
Okay. And children?
Riley and Peyton, Ryle and Peyton.
All right. And did you want to add any siblings for your obituary?
No.
Okay. Of course, we will not be going over the date of death or memorial date because you are still living.
Thank goodness.
And Jennifer, what is your date of birth?
August 24th, 1979.
Okay. All right. And your education level?
I have 2 years of college education. I completed high school and due to get my bachelor's in the next couple of years.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And your wedding anniversary?
September 18th of 2004.
Okay. And did you want to list any parents on your obituary as survivors or if they were preceded in death before you?
No.
Okay. All right. So I do have at this time your memorial place as the chapel at the funeral home.
Okay.
And no officiant yet. And as far as like memorial contributions, some people ask in lieu of flowers, you can donate money to a charity of choice or a foundation of choice. Are you interested in anything like that?
If I did have a charity, it would be some sort of like maybe the Bear Children's Foundation.
Okay.
And I'll probably pick out some animal rescue shelter as that time goes on, that things like that may change for contributions.
Okay. And Jennifer, were you born in Amarillo?
I was.
Okay. All right. Any other cities that you've ever lived in?
No, there's a couple, but none for very long. So I think Amarillo's been the most of it.
Perfect. All right. So I've got you down for your casket and your place of service, your surviving relatives. Is there anything in particular else that you would want?
No, I think that covers it. I just want my funeral to be a celebration, of course, of my life, and something that refers to my husband and children a lot, because it's mainly going to be for them. And
Sure.
an altar call, some sort of positive reinforcement for people, with the focus heavily on salvation and that sort of thing for those that are there. That would be what would be most important to me.
Okay. And you do wish to have graveside services as well following the funeral?
I think for that one, it's probably just a family graveside.
Just private family graveside?
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. We see a lot of that. Okay. Make sure that I've gone over everything with you. And like I said, you can always call and make any changes if need be. And unfortunately, after you've passed, your family can come step in and make any changes if they're desired.
Okay.
Do you have any pallbearers in mind? You can have up to 6 to 8 pallbearers.
No, I think it'll be up to my husband's friends probably, if they're still able to when I pass.
Sure. All right.
So in the case where somebody passes and doesn't have anybody step up to be a pallbearer, does the facility provide that?
We do, absolutely, yes. The funeral home staff is more than willing to step up to the plate to help with that. Okay. That's never a problem. All right. And of course, don't have cemetery plot yet, so we wouldn't have to worry about any headstone tombstones yet.
Right.
So let's see here. Did you have any interest in our memorial folder or register books? Most families purchase the register book for the funeral.
I think the book probably for my kids to hang on to.
Okay, perfect. Write that down here. All right, Jennifer, do you have any questions so far?
No, I think you did a really good job of preparing me for the meeting, and I think I have the information I need.
Okay. And so with this pre-need arrangement contract, it's what's called the guaranteed contract, which means when you pass away, we guarantee you all goods and services that you've picked out today of greater or equal value. If we don't have at that time, we would give it greater equal value of something similar. So that's what that means. It's locked in place. The only thing is, with any rise or fall of the economy, interest might add or decrease. So if it were decreased, we would of course reimburse your family. And if inflation increased, they would be responsible for any interest that was tacked onto it. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Okay. I wanted you to be aware that that's what your contract was.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. And so I've sent you a copy of the itemized statement with all charges that are present and accounted for. If you'll take a look at that and let me know if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Your charges do come out to $12,500.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it
Are
looks.
you
Yeah,
okay? You're comfortable with that?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. How do you want to pay for that? We can have you pay for it all at once in one lump sum with any major credit card, or we have monthly installment plans where you can pay it out in the course of a year, 2 years.
I think I'd like to do the installment plans.
Okay, we can set that up for you as well. So I will send you the statement and set you up on that payment plan
Okay.
where we would lock it in place and we would take care of that for you, okay? Do you have any questions, concerns, anything that I didn't go over with you?
No, I think everything looks good and I feel good about it. And I know that if anything changes, I can always come in or we can do another meeting and change or tweak anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are here 24/7, Jennifer. So if you or your family want to make any changes, we are more than happy to do that with you. And in the future, they're more than welcome to make changes as well. Okay.
I appreciate that. I feel good that we've met and got this arranged, and it's one less thing I have to worry about.
Absolutely. And I do again commend you for taking care of this and getting the go on it because, it takes so much off of your family. We urge so many people to do this, but, some people just aren't in a financial place to do that when they're alive. So it's awesome and amazing that you've taken care of that for your family. And if you have any relatives that need help in the future, we will be glad to do that for them as well.
I'll be referring them to you because you've been very helpful to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate your business. And if there's anything I can do for you, please just let me know. Okay.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Jennifer.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.